What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gamer Dad channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. You're going to like this video. I think it's for you. If you're a Division player, this is the kind of video that, in my opinion, you probably have not necessarily heard many people talk about the community like this. This is not anybody's fault. This is just a video where I want to highlight something that's given me a bigger appreciation for the Division community. Some of you know that I have a second YouTube channel. I cater in my videos on that channel to the superhero video games community, especially the DC games, and the audience there is actually very different. We come from the Arkham games. I talk a little bit about the Spider-Man games, even if I'm not a big Spider-Man fan. But that audience is really interesting because a new video game came out on the market called Gotham Knights. It's an RPG game. It's kind of a light version of The Division. The only difference is you don't really have guns. I mean, Red Hood has guns, but it's more of an RPG game where you run around with weapons and beat bad guys in the open world and reset those particular control points. Sound familiar? So this game has pretty much caused a ruckus in the superhero games community because everybody wants that same old formula of being able to beat a bad guy and dodge. But when it comes to dealing with the RPG elements, it seems like it's confounding a lot of people. They continue to call that game a generic open world Ubisoft game. So I laugh and I'm like, man, there are millions of people who actually play an open world Ubisoft game from, the streets here of DC and maybe New York. This is a Division where we're from. And I start to think how a lot of these folk are confounded when actually faced with dealing with systems that are, in a sense, much more engaging in the way that we see the Division. Even on a lighter level, even when they kind of take it and wash it down a little bit where it's not hardcore. Like the Division, it's super hardcore out here. I mean, you come in here in a Division game, you have the wrong gear. Everybody's like, hey, man, you're wearing the wrong gear. Some of you remember when you first started playing this game, you were new. And you were like, what do you mean the wrong gear? And you're like, no. Don't put on 6 pieces of freaking hardwire. You only need 4. And the chest piece and the backpack are there to give you extra stats. You can choose to or not run them. And you're already, your head's spinning. I have videos that I made 2 years ago on how mods work. And people are just recently watching them thanking me. Because games like these have a very unique audience. And that's where I think the Division audience right now is. If I would even say anything to Ubisoft Massive is, do not sleep on this community of gamers or community that you already have established with your Division franchise. The reason I say this is because it appears to me that with the direction Ubisoft is going and their talks about, we have no plans for a Division 3 game, to me, it just sounds like you're trying to maybe open up the door for another game that's going to execute a very similar formula to come in and just basically poach your audience of gamers. And the audience of gamers that you have are going to be happy to engage in a video game like that. There are some folk in this community that I know they have not played a single game different from the Division 1 or the Division 2, and they've basically played this franchise for years because the game not only has the appeal of what the game, of elements within it, it also has the appeal of giving you some semblance of, consistency and repetition and habit. So many creatures of habit, aka men in different age groups and possibly other women as well who may be playing these games are in a position to just come in and enjoy the way the game runs. And seeing how a lot of people are somewhat dismayed that this game that I've been covering and making videos on have elements like these rather than, the way we appreciate these elements, where even in the Division community, we're like, hey, give us more of the same thing. It's very interesting. I think Ubisoft needs to pay attention. I think, if they have a marketing research team, I don't know what kind of team will be within their ranks. I'm sure they have. They need to have a marketing team that actually looks at communities and the way communities engage with video games that they have heavy stake in. Because Ubisoft makes video games that seem to have already established communities to try to at least, gain a segment of that community into their ecosystem. Example will be the Assassin's Creed games that just came out recently. There's a joke that I usually say, and that joke is Ubisoft will make your game and make it really good. To me, these Assassin's Creed games, Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla, seem to, in a sense, resonate more with the Witcher-esque type of, RPG setup, in a sense. I think that game was designed to appeal to Witcher fans, in a sense, or people who love or enjoy games like that. If you think about a game like Immortals Phoenix Rising, that game was definitely made to appeal to Zelda fans, at least catch their attention. I don't know many of you who are Zelda fans if you played the game or not, but those who played the game, they attested that the game was a good game. The Division, on the other hand, I think it was probably in the space, maybe, in development around the time Destiny, was also in development. So somebody was looking for that. But the Division was designed to capture players who enjoy video games like Diablo and the series. And so when you think about it, Ubisoft has been able to basically carve out a small niche for itself, a third-person RPG looter shooter with all of the elements of gear, min-maxing, even outdoing Destiny. The one thing that the Division outdoes Destiny in, even though I think there are other things, but the one thing even Destiny players come here and say yes, is the fact that Division has all of this, in-depth mechanics that Destiny can only dream of. Yes, Destiny has some systems and some elements that make the game fun, but I think it's really, really huge to see that the community of gamers here really enjoy games like these, and it's not easy to find these communities elsewhere. So I think this community is unique, number one. There's not any like it anywhere that I've seen. I mean, I follow other games and other communities, and I think the people who are probably managing these communities, or the people who are the custodian of the video games that these communities enjoy, seem to be sleeping on it. They're Ubisoft. I encourage you to at least modify that stance of not having any plans for a Division game to at least saying, we'll see what happens in the near future. This is how I think you can continue to keep your community interested and at least continue to, in a sense, serve this community, and this community basically will serve you back. And you know how we serve back, right? The wallets. Thanks for watching the video. Peace out.